Hey guys, this is KSP with Tape, and today you join me for episode 15 of KSP Road to Exploration. And today we're just quickly upgrading our runway to start. Yeah, 15, that's a lot of episodes already. Anyway, today we start with a mission to the space station, the Hermes station. We're sending up an Ares vehicle. Now, if you remember, I already had an Ares vehicle on the station, but last time I saved a Kerbal and ran out of fuel, so I had to bring it back. But this is going to go up there just with a single crew member, because there is still a crew member on the space station. Kind of annoying. I was hoping not to have to launch another one of these. There goes the escape tower, because it's quite expensive. Even when I get the 15,000 funds back for reusing this first stage, which is very nice, but it's still kind of annoying that I have to spend the rest of so much money on kind of building building another rocket and flying it up there. But whatever, we got money, we got bang, we got dollar. And when I finally reuse the second stage, I think I'm actually testing that this time. If this is the mission I'm thinking of, then we'll have a fully reusable rocket, and it'll actually be a rather nice, rather cheap to get to the space station, because that's what you really want. I mean, you want a cheap cost to low Earth orbit, or low Kerbal orbit, I guess, in this context, by doing things like this, landing a rocket. I've actually pulled those chutes a little later than you. Oh no, that was something else I'm thinking of. But yeah. You want to do this kind of thing, and so that you can get really cheap stuff to orbit, because you're gonna have to keep going to orbit and back, because that is because you got to keep rotating crew. But then once you're in orbit, you can just keep using the same vehicles, and I will be doing a little of that today, actually. Anyway, burning ourselves into orbit, so we can meet up with the space station in about an orbit's time, and go put our craft there, so that if something goes wrong, or just if we need to come back, we can, because I currently don't have a re-entry vehicle on the space station. Yes! This is the reusable second stage. Well, it's not reusable. I'm testing out drogue chutes. I'm not fully sure that I'll be able to have communications on the way down with the second stage, because, I mean, there is a chance from using maybe like the space station or low Kerbal orbit satellites, but I can't put a long-range antenna anywhere on this, and it's not going to have the payload right next to it like the first stage does to communicate to the ground with it. So I'm just basically testing out drogue chutes right now. That's all this is. It doesn't have any other parachutes on it, so it almost definitely won't land safely. But yeah, you can see I've lost connection. I think I get it back for a very little amount of time, but yeah, I basically primed the drogue chutes. Those are supersonic parachutes. They're made of Kevlar, I think, in real life, or at least laced with Kevlar, so they're much stronger, so they can be pulled at much higher pressures and velocities, which makes them better to normal parachutes. Yeah, I pulled one there just because turns out I can pull them early, because yeah. Oh, and I actually do get connection back very briefly and use the engines to slow down, but then I lose it again. And the drogue chutes pull, so that's actually pretty good. If I threw maybe just one more parachute on there, maybe two proper parachutes, then I could land this on the ocean. But not today. We're going to slam into the ocean very hard and not get this back. It's also quite hard to... Oh, no, it's not. I was going to say it's quite hard to bring this back close to the space center, but obviously because it gets to orbit, it can pick its landing site. So yeah, I mean, good first test. At some point I will be hopefully bringing second stages back routinely, as routinely as my first stages are getting. I mean, bringing back a lot of first stages now. If you've been paying attention, I've landed a hell of a lot. Probably saved hundreds of thousands of funds. I mean, seriously. Anyway, Skype has started going. I better turn my speakers off. Yep, and now my phone's buzzing with Skype. Notifications are the worst. I mean, oh god. I've really got to turn off Facebook notifications on my phone, or just not have a phone. I really hate having a phone. Anyway, but yeah, we're just moving into Hermes Station right now. Rather beautiful, silhouetted in the darkness of space. No stars, of course, because the atmosphere. Usually, you can't see stars in photos in space because the exposure isn't long enough. You can kind of see some. Well, I think those just might be distant objects. There we go, there's a skybox. Maybe it is light bouncing off the atmosphere. Anyway, we went a little bit past the station, but we're going to dock to the standard docking port, the one at the top, which is for these kind of vehicles. I will be expanding this at some point. I want to bring an actual lab up. I'm still not particularly clear on how researching in labs works. I have played so little KSP 1.0 Yeah, accidentally warp time and get stuck in the station, then just warp time again to get out of it. The parts merged. Lucky it didn't explode, or that would have been horrible. Anyway, yeah, so just getting to the station, and now we have a vehicle there. Anyway, another vehicle going for the station. You're thinking, wait, you just sent an Ares 1 up. This is not an Ares 1 vehicle. This is an Ares 2. This is never coming back. This is meant for being a relay to the Moon and Minmus. Yes, it is my shuttle that will be going back and forth. Because if you remember, and if I mentioned it, I actually currently have some tourists on the station on Minmus, and I don't want us to send a whole craft out to go and get them, so I'm going to have a shuttle that brings tourists and astronauts back and forth. And yeah, this is a Pulsar 2 vehicle, I believe. Oh no, it is a Pulsar 1? Yeah, it looks like a Pulsar 1. That's weird. Yeah, I didn't actually do the re-entry burn on the second stage because there wasn't really time. Also, a fairing gets stuck. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I got a little confused about what launch vehicle this is. It's a Pulsar 2. I was actually thinking Pulsar 2, Pulsar 3. Anyway, Pulsar 2 is my standard reusable rocket that I've been using quite a lot recently, which I keep landing the stage of. And then Pulsar 3 is a very heavy one I used last vehicle. Anyway, this is coming back. Oh, apparently I did do a... Oh no, I used the re-entry burn fuel to get a little more speed. Because it's a very heavy payload. Anyway, so I've actually primed these parachutes to open much closer to the water, so I have more time. Well, so it takes less time to land. Perfect landing. Pretty good. Nice job. Well done, Peter. So that I have time to get back to the spacecraft and put it in orbit. Yeah, so there we go. Very confused about that. That was indeed the standard Pulsar 2 vehicle, which is the one I've been using a lot and reusing in the second stage. The Pulsar 3 is the slightly heavier one I used last episode to put the station around Minmus, not reusable yet, but it has a much better payload to orbit. Same engine setup, just bigger tanks and some boosters. And then the Pulsar 1 is my old moon rocket, which I still occasionally use. Oh no, I don't think I do anymore, because it's not reusable, so there's no point. Alright, good, glad we got that cleared up. I was just getting my vehicles all in line. Actually, Pulsar 1 was reusable, wasn't it? It was the moon rocket, you know, that used the skipper engine. You may not remember because you're not playing the game, you're just watching it, but I don't really know. How intently do you watch these, or am I just noise in the background of you playing video games like YouTube videos are for me? Anyway, yeah, no, the old moon rocket did have a reusable first stage. But it was really annoying, and I had to route around and transfer fuel and things. But anyway, yeah, here we are. We are docking in the dark. Sorry about that. I had to, get the maneuver in, and I had to reuse the rocket, so we will be docking in the dark. But anyway, yeah, this is my shuttle, so that I can take... this will never go back to Kerbal. This is just going to be pretty much, probably for a while, the only spacecraft I use for this sort of job. As long as it has enough Delta V. Well, it will be using aero braking to... save fuel on return to Kerbal, because returning to Kerbal orbit is actually quite difficult. Low Kerbal orbit, that is. You can just... So I will have to aero brake, I guess. But yeah, there are some Kerbals some tourists on the station who would probably like to be coming home / landing on the moon. Gonna need a vehicle for that as well. That'll be next episode. Yeah, but the thing is, with that craft, is I actually forgot to put solar panels on it because I'm a moron, and that is my most frequent mistake. So, very cheap vehicle I prepared here with a couple of docking ports and some solar panels that I'm going to go dock to that spacecraft so that I don't have to launch a whole new one. Solid rocket booster, only about 850 funds, so that's pretty cheap. And this has to have these fins at the back because it's hugely unstable. I know this from previous experiences. I think I probably, in one of the early episodes, flipped out this sort of thing, but the fairing is very draggy, so it flips out quite easily. But anyway, yeah, so this worked well. This was a very cheap mission to go and put solar panels on a spacecraft that should already have solar panels on it. Using, obviously, our all-seeing eye probes so that we can communicate. I've put a long-range antenna on this. Doesn't make it much easier. I probably should actually make that network less terrible. But yeah, anyway... Just get right on up there, and I think we're going to dock right away because I don't really have communications on the other side of Kerbin, because again my communications network sucks because I'm made a lot of mistakes with the the rotational period of Kerbin. Anyway, yeah, it also has a bunch of RCS, so I'm actually going to go dock this to the station when I so that I can put all the I can restock the monopropellant because I thought I might as well get some mission out of this, some something else good, you know. So I'm resupplying the monopropellant as well. So yeah, let's go dock this. But yeah, I am looking forward to this because I do have a bunch of tourist missions which pay really well now, actually, if I'm using reusable rockets. So I can take them up to this station, and often they want to go to Kerbal orbit. And usually now they want to go to Minmus or the moon, and sometimes even land. So I can take them out to the Minmus station using this vehicle, which will hopefully one day have fuel the station, so I can refuel there. And then they can stay there for a little while. And then I can bring them back here, and either, I can either land them on Minmus if that's what they want, or if not, I bring them back here and either put them back on Kerbin or fly them out to the moon with the vehicle I'm developing. Which will be a reusable moon lander, basically, that, you know, goes there and then comes back and docks with the station. So this station is going to be very, very busy. Anyway, so I'm resupplying all of the monopropellant. This is all sped up because it's, you know, monopropellant resupplying takes a while. But those service bays are really good for bringing various things to orbit as well. So I probably won't need that many resupply missions other than fuel because, you know, I want to keep this cost as low as possible. And it's also very good for science. If ever I put a lab up here and figure out how labs work. And if I just need to do low-budget missions to the moon, that could be quite good, or Minmus. Yeah, just basically really takes it down. Anyway, throwing that little kind of dead probe away now, and then docking this back to the station now that it has the ability to generate power so people don't die on the way to Minmus. Apparently we have 2 Kerbals in here. This station does get quite crowded over the next couple of episodes with Kerbals and spacecraft. But I'm really excited. I thought this station would be a bit of a bust when I first built it, but actually having fuel on the station is really useful, as it turns out. Having fuel in space is quite useful. Anyway, so, Duna. We're here. Well, almost here. Okay, so, 1 second. Duna, we're here. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so we have arrived at Duna after a long time in space, and we're just gonna, we're gonna fly by Ike first to kind of see what we can see, because we are being paid for lots of Ike stuff. And I thought maybe I could use Ike to slow myself down, but it turns out it's obviously just more efficient to slow down at Duna, as opposed to using Ike. Because I'm not in a very good position to do that. But yeah, I've got tons of missions around Duna. There's temperature scans, there's flyby Duna, there's explore Ike, there's put a satellite in specific orbit of Ike. I actually have built a station on the surface of Duna, which I just take on. Whenever I see a cool mission, I just take it on now, because I have unlimited stuff. Anyway, I get really confused here, because if you look at the top where the time is, just below the, mission time, it says D+. Basically, when I press a button, it takes 62 seconds for the signal to get there. It only applies for like SAS and RCS things. I can still translate and use the engines in real time, thankfully, because I am terrible at that kind of stuff, if it was delayed. So there was a lot of waiting around being like, my controls aren't working, and hitting my keyboard and being like, oh my god, and then being like, oh yeah, this is space. Because we are really far away and it takes 60 seconds for the signal to get there. So, yeah, that's a bit annoying. But anyway, let's just get ourselves going. There was also a bunch of lag there for some reason. Hopefully you won't have seen that because I sped the footage up partly because of that as well. It was being really laggy. But also, if you've managed to get a quick look at Duna now, look how goddamn beautiful it is with Scatterer on. The atmosphere, it doesn't have any clouds, but the atmosphere just looks so, I don't know, so smooth. Anyway, we are at Ike. Yep, we got a world first. Bitches! And we are into 1 times time accelerator because I thought we should probably, really take in this first mission to another planet. This glorious probe which was thrown together just in the nick of time. That antenna which is just possible, and yeah, anyway, so we've got to figure out what we can do around Ike because we can't really land. Well, no, we can't land. Just, like, can I? No. I think there's also, explore Ike, so we don't really want to orbit Ike right now. Looks like pretty much all we can do is transmit or recover data from space around Ike, and transmit, because I'm not going back to Kerbin now. Hell no. We actually have a signal. We're staying here, and it would also be good to have a satellite around Duna for communications. So yeah, like a relay if I ever put something on the surface, because it has a really long-range omnidirectional antenna on it, which is good. But yeah, so I also hit log temperature. I'm like, why isn't this working? And I'm like, oh, right, yep, 62, almost 63 second signal delay. Yep, of course. So, wait, a lot of physical time warping in this, waiting for the things to come in. So yeah. But anyway, Yeah, we have hit Duna, and we actually have an Eve window coming up. I don't have a mission for Eve yet, but I reckon if I put together a lowish budget... oh yeah, there's our science. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to be either hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. That is probably going to give the R&D guys something to think about. Yeah, anyway, I do have a... Oop, no, yeah, 22 grand. It's going to be a very profitable mission. Surprisingly little science. I thought I'd get a lot more science for getting the space around Ike, but I think the real science comes from the surface of other planets, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, as I was saying, if I can put together a low-budget mission to Eve, maybe I'll be able to pick up a mission on the way to Eve, because it's coming up quite soon and I don't have the mission yet, or maybe it'll just be paid for a bit of a jump. Oh yeah, I sometimes stop the recording and start again just to make sure I don't lose footage. Yeah, but anyway, on the... what was I saying? Yeah, or I could just probably pay for the mission, you know, like the world first things you get, like I just got there. You don't actually take on a mission, but they just give you money for that. So yeah, and anyway, it would be enough science that it would be just logical to do it, even not for profit. But yeah, get a nice... Oh, look, there's the thumbnail. Yeah, but goddamn, dude, look at that. Look how just kind of shady and just bright it looks. I do love Duna. Duna always looks beautiful. And so does Eve, especially with atmospheric scattering. But yeah, there's another world first milestone. Yeah. So let's. I'm going to put myself into a elliptical orbit, so I can also, you know, figure stuff out. Well, I can still get science from high above Duna. And there's just Ike in the night sky, looming like a colossal binary planet. It's not really a binary planet. It's about. I think it's about the third the mass of Duna, so it may be debatable that it's a binary planet system, but probably not. I mean, I'm not fully sure about the kind of physics of the Kerbal universe because it's all 10 times smaller. There's also a sort of a semi-pseudo theory that we're in a bit of a binary planet system with our own moon on Earth, but I mean, it's a lot less massive than Earth. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can see that weird probe that somehow escaped the sun. I don't know how. We should find the wizard who did that. But yeah. Anyway, let's observe the mystery goo and then wait an entire minute to get the data. But yeah, I was going to say something else. So yeah, you could just see that we have some temperature scans on the other side of Duna, which I'll be attempting to do at some point, probably in a future episode, just so I can keep being like, Duna stuff in the title. No, I'll try not to do that. I try to be relatively informative with my titles, but sometimes it's like, gotta think of something. Anyway, yeah, 12.6, hell yeah! This has actually not been a massively scientifically profitable mission. We do get quite a bit though, actually, but because we're only in orbit and we're transmitting everything, it's not that great. But yeah, we're gonna probably send a lander at some point, or just throw this into the atmosphere and see what happens. It turns out you actually can get pressure information from space now. It just kind of yells at you for being in a vacuum, but you still get science. Just taking a drink of water. I've been recording non-stop for like 3 days because I'm going home for a bit, so I need to just get a bunch of stuff recorded. But yeah, there's a little more science. Yeah, I was like, might as well try the barometer. Obviously I won't find out for a minute, but yeah, just a bit of physical time warp and we'll be good. I do like how this probe looks, actually. I mean, the second stage is making it look a little ugly, but I might ditch that at some point. And then this probe itself, using the RCS engines, actually has about I think it's like 800 meters per second delta V, so I might be able to go and do a little more exploration of Ike. Maybe, I'm not sure, I guess do whatever. Maybe glance the atmosphere if I'm so brave, but probably not. I want to keep this spacecraft around. But anyway, yeah, a little more science. Should probably get high up above Kerbin now. Kerbin? No, Duna. New Kerbin is what I shall now call it. Yeah, should probably get high up above Duna so that we can get some more information. So yeah, I do lose communications behind Duna, and then also in a bit when Kerbin turns away from us, I do want to put another long-range antenna on the other side of Kerbin on the surface, because the surface antenna is quite nice because it's very static. I mean, I know orbital antennas, if you do them right, can be quite static, but it's just, if you mess up the orbital period, it's a bit screwy, but if you... But if it's on the ground somewhere, then it's much better. Yeah, so, I mean, I do need to improve my communications network at some point. But this has gotten all the way here, and it has, pretty good lock half the time, which is good. I was just checking how long we'd been here. We've been doing stuff for about 2 days. I've just got to, keep an eye on it, because I have a lot of people on a lot of stations who really need to not die. So yeah, anyway, let's just walk around the planet again and try and get our communications back. Just looking for that yellow line. There we go. Now we can get some science from high above Duna. Figuring out what Duna looks like from far away. What it looks like in the dark. Observe the mystery goo. I keep double clicking like, what the oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're 63 seconds away now. God damn it, man. And then I'm also going to take all these other scans. I took them all at the same time so that they'd pop up. And then log pressure data, of course. Didn't bring a materials bay. I guess I'll bring that next time I come. Maybe if I bring a human here. Well, bring a Kerbal here. What's a human? one of those crazy Kerbals talking about these pink-skinned, tall people who live on this really, really undense universe on this giant planet in this giant solar system who, went to the moon, right? And then after that were like, yeah, let's not go anywhere else for 50 years. Let's just stay near the planet. Kerbals just laugh at that, because that would be so stupid. Yeah, we should really go to Mars. Actually, I think we should probably go to the moon first again. Maybe put a base there. I don't know. I should think about this more. I think a moon base would be good for learning how to keep people alive in space for a long time. And it's near enough to Earth that, we don't need to die. We don't need to die if something goes wrong. Anyway, I needed to get a little tiny bit more science to do some researching. So Valentina, being the badass that she is, wanted to get a little bit of air in this, because she's annoyed that she's not at Duna right now. So she wanted to try jumping to Duna. We were like, no, that doesn't work. And she was like, I don't care. But, yeah. Anyway, so we do slow down the thing. We're just going to get a few pressure scans and things to get a little more science so that we can unlock the turbojet afterburning engine, so we can maybe start working on some proper space planes. I maybe should have unlocked some other stuff, because I don't actually have all the parts to build a space plane right now, but it's a good first step, and I also spent about 100 grand getting that. We have a lot of money, though, after that Duna mission, and we still have a lot more Duna stuff to do, but that will all be in the next episode. Also, we buy a new spaceplane hangar. Woo! Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been episode 15 of KSP Road to Exploration. I will see you next time.